Bless the hands that prepared it and the hands that served it. This is our prayer. In the name of our Lord, Jesus Christ. And all of God's children said, Amen. 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 All right.
It's in the back. I haven't eaten it yet.
Okay, everybody, we're going to have Bob Stoll, athletic director, come up and speak to us just a little bit. We appreciate everything the college has done for us, the university, and talk to us just a little bit.
Thanks, Greg. First of all, welcome all of you. I mean, this is just such a great event. Thank this man right here and his group. Round of applause. Also, we want to thank Brian, Genevieve from our staff, just a wonderful job coordinating this. And Julie, the track over Julie, right? There's Julie over there. So, by the way, Julie was an excellent track athlete herself. She was second in the nation in heptathlon when she was in school. So, got knowledge. I appreciate that. It's so great to have you back here. I mean, I'm talking to people, and some of you haven't been here in 30 years, 40 years, 50, we keep it going. We have people from Australia, we have Sweden. Chris is from Australia, the fastest white guy they've seen in a long time.
Spain now.
Oh, Spain now, I'm sorry. They said he'd have really been on much faster if he didn't chew that tobacco so much. Is that true?
That's, if you came to the desert, that's what kept me going.
Oh, that kept me going. That's great. But you know, you look, we started the UTEP Athletic Hall of Fame when I came back in 1998. We started about 2000, and like my wife says, about 95% of the people we induct all the time are from the track program. And of all of our sports, over the history of UTEP athletics, the one dominant sport every year that has international implications is our track program. Last year, Anthony Rotich, he won the steeplechase outdoor. He won the indoor mile this year. It's just an example. Blessing Okabar, a couple of years ago, was runner-up to the Bowerman Award, which is the #1 track athlete in the country. So that's just our examples of the type of athletes that we continue to have, much like all of you were when you were here. I mean, the talent in this room is absolutely incredible. It really is. And again, it's been so much fun for all of you to trade and elaborate your stories a little bit tonight. I'm sure they'll get a little bit larger. And I really didn't know that Wayne had this many friends. The amazing thing, Wayne almost didn't get here. He got here at 5:30. So, typical Wayne, he was probably, well, he came from Vancouver, but he probably came from Afghanistan before that. You don't know where he is. He'll call, he's talking to the Prince of Arabia, and, it's unbelievable. But the stories about Wayne, the track team that is here, and the talent is just incredible. One thing I tried to do since I've been here in 1998 was improve facilities, and we had a number of major projects. Tomorrow, I think there's a tour of people that want to see our Durham Center, which is where the football offices and the largest weight room that we have is over there. It's about 12,000 feet and overlooks the stadium and all the office and stuff. And we built a softball stadium and locker rooms and lounge over there for soccer and softball. And then we built this particular facility, finished it about 5 years ago. So we've consistently tried to upgrade our facilities. The one thing we're trying to do right now is track. As many years as you've been gone and think about it, if you go to the track offices, you'll remember. Because it hasn't changed a whole hell of a lot over there. It's the one area that we are really looking to improve. And so what we did, We went out, Julie kind of led, and Brian led the attack. We went and had interior decorators come in and look at what we needed to do to upgrade and make a first-class office and training and team room facility. As a result, John Berkelbeck made a huge gift. The ticket's about $177,000. John made a huge gift. Carrie Ellison made a really nice gift. Mike Moles made a really nice gift. Leo Schuster made a really nice gift. And so right now, what we have left of that project is about $54,000 total to finish that, $177,000. So really nice gift. What we'd like to do, all of you, consider helping with this project. And tomorrow, hopefully, when you're at the track meeting, we can get you in the office and get a better idea of what we're talking about. We do have these locker plaques, and what we normally do this is we sell these basically for scholarships. But what we're going to do here, this is an opportunity to put your name on this, and any kind of saying or statement you want to would go on a locker in the track office, and we normally sell them for $1,500. We're going to do $2,500, but all this money says scholarships is going to go to finish this track project. We want to completely do an upgrade of this. Over there is some renditions. It's really not it's indicative of really what's going to happen, but basically the team room will be completely renovated. We have gazillion trophies, track trophies. We have everywhere. National, they're everywhere on the board. We're making a huge trophy case. We're going to renovate the entire room. We're putting huge television, new furniture, doing the whole thing for the team room. And then the offices, the furniture in our offices are basically Don Haskins era right now in the track offices. And then the walls, if you go in there, you can have all the certificates of all Americans on the wall. But what we want to do is kind of like this. We want to make a beautiful rendition and walls honoring the All-Americans on the wall rather than just these particular plaques. We want to do it first class. And when tomorrow, if you get a chance to go through the Durham Center, you can see what we did in the hallway of the football office. You can get a better idea of what we did. We had a company come in and do a whole, basically history down the hallway of the football program. And so we want to do something similar for track. So again, this project is something that we really would like to complete. I know some of you like to help on this, and we certainly appreciate it because this track team deserves it, really do. They really do. So any way you can help, we really appreciate it. Mika, would you like to say something along the lines like that? John, do you want to say anything? There it is. Would you like to say a couple words? John would or not? John says, give some money. Mika?
Thank you, Coach, and welcome everybody. I really appreciate being invited here to this great reunion. I mean, we all are strong, we all have talent, and know what you guys did in the past. But before I go any further, let me introduce the coaches, the people that do all the heavy lifting for us, and the people who got to get it done for us. In order of seniority, first, Coach Paul Reng, he's our head cross-country coach. He's also associate head coach and 1988 Olympic champion in 800 meters. Second, Coach Leo Settle, he's our sprint coach and jumps coach. Coach Lasina Golding Clark, he's our hurdles coach and sprint coach. Coach Davian Clark, he's the sprint coach. And Coach Mark Rodriguez, he's a throws coach. He helps me with the throws. And these coaches, they don't need much. I mean, we'll be happy sitting in Wooders to get the job job done. It's not about us. But nowadays, these kids, it's all about that wow factor, and this is why we do this kind of project. I think when we bring recruits in here, they want to see the history, they want to be at awe, they want to be stunned with what we had done in the past, and kind of maybe intimidated with the expectations that will be put on them if they come to UTEP. I want to have those, I mean, we are supposed to statistics. Like I want to have those record posts, I want to have top 10 posts for every event on the roster. So they know what the goals are, and maybe when they come here, they also be very motivated to get their names on one of those boards. So that's why we do this, and that's we hoping it will help with this project. And we thank you what you have already done. We well on our way there, so we really appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do for you guys during your stay here, then just let us know. Thank you very much.
One last thing, we have been working on facilities. We put a new track in, 2 or 3 years ago, thanks to a gift from Larry Durham. We just recently put a new pole vault pit in, thanks to Leo Schuster. Now we need some pole vaulter. And we had a video screen thanks to John. So we've made progress on the outside part, but now we really want to do a great job inside. So again, anyway, you can tell us appreciate it. Again, thanks so much. What a great group. Congratulations. Have a great time. And go Miners. One thing, Dr. Alicia Alfredo will be here at some point. She was at a function that I was at before. She's kind of moving around, but she'll be here at some point to say hello. So again, thanks so much.
Larry Van can speak to us now. We're going to do a little memorial for those people who could not be here. And come up now. For those who don't know me, I'm Greg Jones.
Someone once said, anyone you meet in life, if you speak to them for more than 2.5 minutes, they become a part of who you are. We are a part of an extended family of athletes who came from all over the world to do something and do it together. We might have come at different times. We might have come during different occasions. But the one thing that we all had in common was the fierce, competitive nature that made us Miners.
Wow.
Everywhere we went, we were underdogs. Whether we were ranked or not ranked, they looked at us and said, there's that team from El Paso. 1 foot in Mexico, 1 foot in the United States. So everybody had some kind of a comment about us. So it appeared every time we went somewhere, we had a chip on our shoulder. We were so mad that people thought so little of us that we were determined to be the best at what we did all of the time. Now, there are some of our team that is no longer with us. And when I mention these names, each one of us will have a different memory because of different circumstances that brought us together. Pinto Bean, Arthur Cooper, Joe Comer, Bobby Doyle, Roger Fleming, Parrish Frungus, Gilberto Gumia, Paul Gibson, Gregory Glenn, Malcolm Hill, Hans Hogan, Harold Woodley Kelly. He was my roommate. So Willie Moss, Mike Perry, Jimmy Rogers, Paul Strossen, Danny Teague, and Joe Wisdom. Please know that a part of us is no longer here. And that the one thing we have in common is that if they touched us at all, they will always be here. And that they can never take away from us. If you don't mind, I would like to say a short prayer for those who have gone on before us, in hopes that our memories are still strong, in hopes that we still understand that they are minors. Father, we thank you not only for this day, but for the time that you allow our friends to be in our lives, to strengthen us, to befriend us, to care about us, and most of all, to be minors. Bless us this day, we ask in the name of our Savior Jesus. Amen.
First thing I want to do is thank everybody for being here. This is a great turnout. We started this about 15 months ago, trying to find people, and it took us quite an effort to find many people. It's great that everybody could be here. I know people came from other countries. We have people here from Australia. We have some from Sweden, or we also have Spain now. And I know we have some with health problems, and we're still able to get here, and so it's so great to see everybody. I want to thank some of the people who helped put this together. Carrie Ellison.
Yeah!
John Berkelback. Steve Pullen. Harrington J.J. Jackson. Bruce Sadowski. And also we want to thank Russ Vandenberg. And of course we need to thank Wayne Vandenberg for bringing us all together. Steve Fullen's going to help us introduce everyone. We're going to try to do this quickly and just get a chance so everyone can see who is here. He'll be walking around and introducing as he goes.
Hi everybody, great to see you. What a scene! These faces, God almighty. Actually feels like an episode of Twilight Zone. Like I wanted to be like Madeline Park running, and I'm beating JJ, and then over here we are again. I mean, it's just amazing. I just think this is one of those special moments in everybody's lives. We'll never forget this. We won't forget what happened to us. And so I want everybody to just meet each other a little bit. Now, we do have a few unusual things here. We have a whole contingent of Australians who are actually on Skype right now over here at this table. And I invite all of you to, they're waving at us. So we're going to leave them out. There's a bunch of them there. There's Ken Breen, there's Carrie Pierce, there's Bob Balzac, Chris Fisher, I'm not sure who else is there. And anyway, you can go over there and talk to them at any time during the evening. They're available and they're live, okay? And I'm going to introduce them as we go around as well, so I didn't want to leave them out, my Aussie mates. So, university.
Yes.
Oh, we
You know, one small thing I forgot, not so small, I want to thank the university and
we're all very excited about this, that's okay. I think we should just give another round of applause for this man here. He did it. I mean, it's unbelievable what he did, really. 15 months ago, I had this idea, this vision of doing this. And then one day I get a call from JJ over here who gave me a fake voice and said I was being arrested by the Warriors. and then told me about this whole thing, and we got together, we had lunch, and then it's expanded, and now, you know, we're all in LA, unfortunately, and in Pasadena, so this weekend is not going to be enough time to catch up because we've closed several restaurants already, you know, late at night, just catching up, and it's incredible what happens when you have so many memories and so many things, you can just pick them up. Just like you left off 40 years ago. Because we all have the code, we have the shorthand of those conversations. We know each other really well like nobody else does. And it's a fabulous thing. So I want to go around the room and say, okay, right now, and introduce everybody. Is that okay? Yeah. He's forgotten some more people. We're going to start with those. Okay, so yeah, Brian Gates and Guinevere and Charles Gates, who helped us to implement this project, put everything together. You know, we didn't come here, we didn't see the room or anything like that, and they just picked it up and helped us, which was fantastic. And we really appreciate their work doing this at the last minute, basically. And they have other events going on right now simultaneously. So thanks to them. So I want to start over on this table right here. I'd like to introduce you to my lovely wife, Rasta, who also helped with this project. And, you know, I couldn't be alive without her, literally. And then as I go around, the athletes at each table, please stand up and tell us who you are and what year you were here and what you did.
John Berkelback, 1967 to 1971, shot put and discus.
Thank you.
Whoa. Donald Lewis, Spinner Herman, 70, 74.
Harold Williams, 71, 72, 100, 200 in the relays.
Freddie Bernardi, 69 to 72, shot put and discus.
John Corky just happened to say hello. I was blessed with some great athletes and great competitors, and I'm very appreciative of all their efforts.
In what years, John?
Well, that's, Lynn says what years, I'm afraid to tell the truth. Back around, let's see, 70, 72, I would say.
Awesome. Okay, we're going around over here.
MG Chevy, 71 to 75, Decathlon, high levels.
Clyde Larson, 1968, 69 to 70.
Lawrence Vanley, 69 through 71, long jump, triple jump.
There's a referee.
Chris Carpenter, Sweden, marathon.
You're so funny.
Bednarski from England, mile, 3 mile, and 6 mile. 1969 to 73.
They're not northern distance, but I was the one that actually recruited Chris, northern one.
Troma from 1968 to 1972. Intermediate hurdles, 4 mile distance.
Jump run, oval, 1967 to 97.
Kerry Ellison, middle distance, 68 to 72.
Big guy.
Gary Mazziotti, 69 to 73, cross country and distance.
Robert Stone, Rob Road, 69 to 73, cross country distance.
An Aussie.
We're going to do a lot of airtime later, so I don't know if you need any introduction at all. Don't worry about it, okay? We'll get to you.
Ghana, Australia, amateur.
Peter Teresa, James Road, 1971 to
And Goodman. I don't know if I would really say that I recruited Carpenter. Fernando de la Cerda from El Paso, Texas. Middle distance.
Richard Spinelli, John Troma, 67 to 71.
Dennis Sledge, 69 to 73, and I carried Paul Hager at Mosby.
Francisco, 68, cross country and middle distance.
Steve Deemy distance, javelin, 68 to 72.
Dave Williams, 67, 70, 100 hurdles.
Guy Johnson, 69 to 71, javelin and Tudor.
Greg Haas, 67, 71, hammer.
Rod Rondo, 400 hurdles, and all 4
Kevin Joyce, student manager, 68 and 73. Kerry, did you say something about taking some tests for somebody?
Tutor.
Statutes of limitation have been expired.
Thank you, Paul.
Pearson, 71 to 74, middle distance, Canada.
Phil Fisher, 66 through 69, Camus, a sprinter, and Wayne, if you're the slowest guy I've ever seen. Team Manny.
Rick McLaughlin, 71 to 73, cross country and distance.
Dale Johnson, quarter mile, 71 to 75.
Wayne Slater, Brooklyn, New York, 100, 200, 400, and all relays.
Zero Purcell, 400 and 800, 66 to 68.
Kenny Anderson, 1967 spring. I ran 100, 220, and 440 relay with these fellows here, New York.
Bob Pittman. 1967 through 68, and just one word, a couple of words to Coach. Coach recruited me back in 1965 in high school. He had a vision to bring me to his coaching. And I just wanted to say, Coach, you made a beautiful time for me here, to train here, to get myself ready to set to the world when I get into college. And the record still stands today.
Got a lot of talent in this room, man. I'm telling you. I forgot the number.
Daryl Marbury, 72, 76, long count, 440 relay.
I remember doing on camera.
Robert Buffet, long jump, triple jump, September 1967 to April 1968.
Thank you. This one right here. There's lights.
69 to 71 spread.
Dan McKillop from 1997 to when I got out of here. I'm still here. Till 2001. Okay, it was cross country and track.
I'm Pete Romero. I was here at 67 through 71, ran distances.
Hard action father, Eddie Joe Shirley, 1964, 1969. Thanks to all my great teammates in here. Coach Vandenberg, the most influential coach I ever had in my life. I coached 44 years in Texas.
We got one guy over here, because he's playing like a cameraman, he wants my job or something. He's hiding, but he's not going to get away from it. Paul Hagler.
Paul Hagler, pole vault, high jump, 1969 and 1971.
I got one story telling about Paul Hagler. A quick.
Don't believe it.
I got one. Growing up with Uncle playing in El Paso in August 28, 1969. Came to the airport. It wasn't an airport, it was actually an airfield. They didn't have the plane landed on grass, and the first guy was driving up in a 57 Chevy with big poles on the back of it was this guy, Paul Hagler. Get in the car, guys, I'm taking us to the door. So we got careening down the highway at about 100 miles an hour. And then after that, everybody borrowed his car forever. But that was Paul Hagler, the first man we ever saw in America. I didn't get these guys over here. This is a hard job, man. Am I going to be
No.
Harrington Jackson, sprints from 1969 to 1972. I'm Jake Jones. I ran the quarter mile, half mile, and the mile.
I guess I'm last because my last name is Zabelski. I was a discus thrower and I came down here in 1970 and stayed till 75, and it was a great experience. I'll never forget.
Why don't you all just give yourself a great round of applause? All right, next on the agenda is Bruce. Bruce is up next. Bruce has a wonderful gift for everybody.
Everyone is going to get a trip to Hawaii here. Paid for by someone in this room. We haven't seen the tickets yet, but those will be coming. But I do have one thing to say. My wife said, don't say anything stupid, so I'm going to say anything stupid. No, most people in this room didn't know, but Bob Beeman is my brother. When I got involved with Greg Jones, he was a year into this project, and it turned out he was really swamped with work, because every time I talked to him, he was really working at it, day and night, 7 days a week. So I started getting involved trying to find people, and I found out that it's pretty tough to find people 40 years later, to say the least. And one of my major accomplishments was to find Chris Dorfenberg over in Spain. I had nothing to go by, and I looked at all the paperwork on the internet and found his email and some page that was obscure from everybody. But anyway, it was a great time finding people. Of course, we didn't find everybody, but we're going to keep working at it because we're planning a new reunion, possibly 2 years from now in Australia. So there's a possibility of it. We're just kicking it around right now. The other reason I'm here is that we're in the t-shirt business in New Jersey, and we wanted to come up with something special for everybody here that's been involved with the amazing program that the coach has built up for all of us. I mean, this coach had a vision that no one ever would believe. You know, how do you get Bob Beeman down to El Paso, Texas, and the track team consisted of about 5 guys, right? When you came in, what a great accomplishment that he did. And we came up with a t-shirt for him and for everybody in the room. And my wife's going to give him out on the table back there as soon as she gets going. So, well, I got to finish my beer. I'm still drinking. She's going to give shirts out. Everybody gets a free shirt. And we figured it out already. And then there's a few people here bought more than one, and still working out with it. But so we got these shirts. We want to get them out. I do need one helper to do this, because this is a very important job. And the guy that I'd like to ask to help me is a friend of mine, and I spent a lot of time with him throwing the discus and the shot put, and he helped me out in a big way. I didn't come as close to being as good as him, but he was a great guy, and he really was something. He was one of the best guys ever in the shot put and the discus. Fred DiBernardo. And we don't have a real picture of him and me from back in the 70s. So somebody take a picture of my wife, Ben Hagler. Oh, we're on the camera. So we're going to Australia. But Fred was a phenomenal athlete and a great example, of how to do everything in sports. He taught me almost everything I know. So let's bring up Coach Vandenberg and Coach Corky. I forgot to mention one thing. We came out with the idea of the Vandenberg World Team. Everybody is around the world.
Small size.
Yeah. You can get a refund if you bring
I'm not quite ready to fill this one out yet. I'll work on it.
Thank you very much, Coach Vandenberg. did a phenomenal job. Let's give them a really big hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray.
We would like to ask Wayne Vandenberg, please come up to the podium. We would like to chat with you about a few things, sir.
Am I exercising tonight?
Yes, after all the relays you made me run, I think it's only fair.
So, this is a plaque that I put together on behalf of everybody. And I wanted to give it to you tonight. And when I give it to you, I just want to read this, what's on it. We came up with this name, the Vandenberg World Team, because that's really what this is. It's all these guys that you brought here from all over the world. And we couldn't say it was anything else. And so that's why it's called the Vandenberg World Team. And we really felt that, you know, all these years and the things that happened since then to all these guys, all of us, what happened to us here meant so much to all of us. It brought us all together today and came from all over the world because it means so much what you gave us. And what you gave us is how to win, how to lose, how to fight, how to never give up, how to be men when we were kids. And all those things we carried with us our entire careers. And all of us achieved. And I believe because of that. And I believe everybody knows that. That whatever you did in your career, it started here with those lessons. And so on the plaque it says, track and field 67 to 1972, Coach Wayne Vandenberg, in appreciation for your vision that built the greatest collegiate track and field team in history. The team members from countries around the world, thank you for the immeasurable impact you have had on all of our lives. UTEP Track Reunion, El Paso, April 11th and 12th, 2014. Wow!
Thank you very much. You know, we learned together. I'm going to be 72 on Tuesday. And I think, Spordoni, how old are you? You're already 72, right? Okay. I just want to give you that, sort of that, you know, that's the statistic, so to speak. We learned together. We really did. Because I arrived here, I had just turned 24. And, you know, I remember Mark McDonald was doing an article the other day, and he called me, and he wanted to know some things about how did I get the job here. I don't think many of you know how I got the job here. But I was a hot shot in Albuquerque. That's why I was recruiting Bob to Beaman to University of New Mexico. And by the time I was a senior in high school, in college, I had recruited the New Mexico track team. I recruited myself out of a spot on the track team. So I graduated into being an assistant track coach. And it was really funny, when I was a 19-year-old freshman, I was in the School of Architecture. And I would find myself
in the student union reading out-of-town newspapers every afternoon, instead of being in the architecture lab. And I'd have to do that on Friday night, Saturday night after the track meet, and all day Sunday to catch up on what I hadn't done during the week. So I would see guys running, so-and-so did this, Richmond Flowers did that, OJ did this, whatever, And so I said, what am I doing in school architecture? I think I want to coach, So I had a very good college track coach. He wasn't Mr. Personality, but he was very instinctive about things. I was the Mr. Personality. And so I would go and tell him, I said, there's this kid in Baltimore. I mean, this kid is awesome. We need to get him. And so he said, why don't you take my key and go into my office at night? And nobody knows who I am anyhow. They don't know my voice. You're Coach Hackett. Just get on the phone and start making phone calls. That's what I did. Hi, this is Coach Hackett. We've been following your progress.
You started cheating.
Pretty soon we had a hell of a track here. Boston, Indiana, right? Gary, East Chicago, Bernie Rivers, Clarence Robinson, long jump, triple jump, national champion. And so I started getting a reputation. I became the fastest mouth in the West. Because I did a lot of talking. And there was Texas El Paso just had a really outstanding football team in 1965, in the fall of '65. Awesome football team. They had 6 athletes recruited in the first 36 picks or something. It was unbelievable. And to keep the coach, they had to come up with a lot of money. Heretofore, they had decided they were going to give Ross Moore, who was the trainer and track coach, the ability to decide whether he's going to be the track coach or the trainer. And Ross had been here from the beginning of time. In fact, he recruited as Joe Sherry. And Ross was the football trainer. He was the basketball trainer. They won the NCAA that year. He had spring football, the trainer for spring football, because there was only one trainer. And he was the track coach. Well, I mean, there's no way. So, he'd tell Eddie Joe to go out there and run a couple laps. We'll see you Saturday, right? I mean, for all practical purposes. I mean, he was overworked and underpaid. And so there was talk in El Paso, because New Mexico, we had a pretty good track team. We beat Southern Cal for the first time in 27 years. We beat them in doing the first time they lost in 27 years. And so everybody's saying, well, Vandenberg's going to get that job. I'd never talked to anybody in El Paso. I didn't know anybody, but the word was, and of course, I was believing people telling me, you're going to be the track coach at Texas. Mind you, I had never been to El Paso. Never been south of Las Cruces, south of Socorro, New Mexico, let alone El Paso. So the word got around that West Point came to try to recruit the football coach here. That was here, Bobby Dobbs. They had to give him a lot of money to stay, gave his assistants a lot of money. So any money they allocated for the track program, for the track coach, was gone. And so I was moping around I heard this, and I was moping around the office. Now, mind you, I'd never talked to anybody in El Paso. I'd never talked to the athletic director, never talked to anybody. But in my mind, I'm going to be the track coach at Texas El Paso, or Texas Western. And of course, I'm 23 years old, and I am really wet behind me. Really wet. I think I'm pretty good, but I'm really wet. So I mentioned it to the basketball coach at New Mexico, who was Bob King, who was one of the best basketball coaches in the country. And he knew the athletic director here, and I was moping around. He said, what's your problem? I said, I'm not going to get the job in El Paso. He said, oh, were you offered the job in El Paso? I don't remember. I don't think so. Did you ever talk to the athletic director in El Paso? No. You ever been to El Paso? No. He was really giving. The next morning at 4 a.m., I'm in my little blue Volkswagen. Right down the highway from Albuquerque to El Paso. I'm in a pair of Bermuda shorts, a t-shirt, and I used to shave my head. And there's a little place right below the highway, right below the university, and there was a gas station down on Paisano, right? So I pull into the gas station, Paisano, about 7:45 in the morning, I got a suit and bag. No air conditioning in that Volkswagen. And I mean, let me tell you something, it is hot. Even at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sitting on the steps in my suit, and George McCarty, the athletic director, walks up. Said, Mr. McCarty, I'm Wayne Vandenberg. I'd like to spend a couple minutes with you. 3 hours later, I was the trainer. Absolute true story. And my job, my salary was $5,400. I lived in the dormitory. I supervised the football dormitory. And so I had room and board. I had room 12 months a year, and I had board 9 months a year. And I had to eat with the football players. And that's where I started. My son was I guess conceived there. And it was a wonderful time in my life. And I remember Mary Haskins, Don Haskins' wife, they had lived there at one period of time when they started when he came in as a basketball coach here. He had to live in the dormitory and supervise the football players. And Mary said to me, she said, you'll see some scratch marks in the door because they were pulling me out of that place. I didn't want to leave, she said. I love this. Didn't have to do anything. Got meals cooked. She said, I had finger scratch marks on the doors because they were pulling me out of it. But that's how it all began. And, I think I had 7 guys visit the campus in the entire time that I was the track coach. 7 guys, and they were all from Texas. And I don't think any of them came. Does anybody in here ever come to visit the campus before? Did you? Yeah? I didn't even remember that. Really? Yeah, but you came. But Pete, you came. So that was really pretty much the evolution, and I remember speaking at a Lions Club the first year George McCarty was the athletic director. He used to take me around. Like I said, we all learned together. We absolutely learned together. Because I went to a Lions Club or one of the social clubs here, and they're saying, what kind of track program are we going to have here, Coach? And I said, well, let's see. I figured in the 3rd year we should win the NCAA championship. I said that, seriously. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine anybody saying that? Or you. I said it, and we did. We won the NCAA cross country championships, and it's better to be lucky than good. I mean, it really is. And things have to happen like that. They really do. But and you, as I say, the motto is, or the old adage is, we sort of learn together. We really did. We went through good times. We went through bad times. We went through difficult times. I remember we went to the New York AC games, or was it New York? No, New York AC. And Rat Brown's out there saying, we're going to blow this place up, And we had the FBI, we went in at 3 o'clock in the morning, we flew across country at 3 o'clock in the morning. We went through some really difficult times. We had guys that left the program, we had decisions, you make decisions, you wish you hadn't had to make. You might have handled them differently at different times. But we remained great friends, great friends. We're all part of that fabric of life, learning from one another, appreciating the things that we've done together, the sacrifices we made, the women in our lives, our children, our grandchildren, our wives, our parents. I remember sitting in Harold Williams' front basement. We had a 2-floor house or something. And we're sitting down in the basement, and she said, where's your car? And I says, what's out there? She says, well, man, you better make sure it's locked. Because it may not be there when you get up and leave. I remember Larry Shipp, the burglar, who went to LSU, he grew up in Washington, D.C. I go to his house, this is great. I go to his house and his mother brings hot chocolate. You know, we're to sit there, mom and dad, Larry and me, okay? And they've got a beautiful white carpet. And I spilled that hot chocolate all over the room. Needless to say, Larry Shipp went to LSU. But you know, you remember those little tidbits. Things didn't quite work out. I remember recruiting O.J. Simpson. I remember recruiting Richmond Flowers. I mean, there was nobody. Why not? Yeah, they have it. Why not? Why not us? Why can't we be the best? Who said we can't be the best? Who decided, you know? As Larry Van said, you know, we always had sort of a chip on our shoulder, you know? And I guess we did, you know? Yeah. We did. We were ferocious. I remember the anchor laid in 1970, Salt Lake City. Am I right?
Yeah.
WAC championship. Ralph Mann running against Fernando de la Silva. Olympic champion, world record holder, Ralph Mann. And he passes Fernando at the end. Fernando's a 19-year-old, right? Is that right? You were a freshman, Fernando? Is that right? Right. And just did a great job in the 800 that night, or 880. And Ralph Mann runs by and starts doing this. And I thought I was going to tear Ralph Mann's head off. I mean, we had some great times. And I am so appreciative of the fact that you've all renewed acquaintances together. This is a wonderful, wonderful event. It's a tribute to each and every one of you to bleed a little orange. Whether you were here a long time or a short period of time, we all had a great time. And I'm apologetic for the fact that I didn't spend more time with all of you. I mean, there's a lot more that each and every one of you could have accomplished. And I wish that I had been able to give you the time and attention, you know, for you to realize your fullest potential. And I mean that sincerely. I thought about that today. It's one of the things that I wanted to say. But you know, to me, it wasn't important if we were running and there was nobody there to appreciate it. If there was nobody there to even read about it. If nobody understood what we were building, you know. And I remember my brother and I being out on the track, doing the cinders, dragging the track at 4 o'clock in the morning, putting up little picket fences along the long jump road. The things that you had to do to build tradition, to build a program, to get appreciation, to get 15,000 people in the seats, you know. Just part of what it's all about, you know. It's not about running fast only, okay? That's part of it. It's not about just getting a college education. That's part of it. It's about the wonderful memories and the take-backs and helping out your teammates and coming to their rescue when they needed help and being here tonight, all of you. It's really warms my heart. Wow. Really warms my heart. So let's have some fun tomorrow and tonight, you know, let's commiserate, let's have fun. John Berkelbeck, thank you so much for the great things you're doing at the university, you know, it's a wonderful thing. John was an academic All-American, he was an El Paso kid, he was one of 3 guys to throw 60 feet in the same year. Freddie, Vince, and John, 3 60-footers on the same track team. So one thing, John Court, let me tell you something. John Court, what a guy.
Don't tell them all.
What a guy. He was it Roselle Catholic?
Yeah.
Roselle Catholic. I met him and his mentor, his partner in crime, Frank Gagliano. And I got John to come here and be a graduate assistant. He was really an assistant coach, but he was paid, he got a scholarship, you know, to get advanced degree, and then he got his PhD. He coached at Nebraska, been teaching it at Montclair State, New Jersey for years. Great coach, great coach. We had no resources. We had no resources. It was me making, I made $12,000 my last year, $12,000. John got books, tuition,
the food.
great athlete. That's what we had. You know, it was 24/7. You know, it was 24/7. You know how I used to get to, you know how I used to go recruit guys? The gas company, El Paso Natural Gas, which was headquartered here at that time, they had a fleet of Learjets. So I made arrangements with the pilots, you know, to take care of them. I said, when are you guys going to New York? They'd call me. I'm with you. I like the plan. So John and I.
Ferris Slacks, too.
Yeah, Ferris Slacks, same thing. We'd be on that Learjet, man. We'd be going, you know, because there was no money to recruit. I think, like I said, I think 7 guys visited the campus. Pete, I think you're the only guy on this table. Who the hell were you to get that thing? I don't even remember it. Yeah. I did talk fast. Did. You made the right choice. Well, you know, those were wonderful times, and a lot of sacrifices made by a lot of people, but you know, memories that you'll cherish long beyond when you're gone. You know, and hopefully you pass on these stories and these occurrences to other people, and give a helping hand to someone along the way. But I mean, you think about it. I mean, we have virtually every state in the country. You know, here we had guys from all over the world and so forth. Leonard Nordland come in here. And Leonard didn't have a stellar career by any, but for him to come back and think about that, he's a successful attorney in Stockholm, and for him to come back. And Sportoni, my man. I mean, I knew his brother. His brother was a great athlete at USC, right? Yeah, great athlete at USC. Bill Diffusco, I got to tell you. This guy's watching. Bill had a stellar career with the CIA. Glenn Troball, I think he puts, what do? You put rockets on the moon or something? He's like a physicist. Yeah. Can you imagine? Clarence Dukes, you're the man. I mean, we really had a wonderful group of people. Greg Kosk, I don't know how many of you knew that Greg Kosk was an American League umpire. How many years, Greg?
26 years in American League.
Oh. He trained with Fred and with Vince and Bruce. Yep, and John, right? I mean, it was, just wonderful, wonderful situation. Madame Boo Govinda Shetty. When he came here, I had him living at the hotel. And he was working in the hotel for years.
They came all the way from India.
Yep, from India. And he came here, you were in India on business or a wedding or something? Both. He just came back Thursday from India for this. This is really special. This is really, really special. My man, John Courtney, he was a special guy, And a great coach. Great coach. We talked about it tonight, about, the career choices that we made and so forth. And John says he's never regretted, he says he believes red and white in Nebraska. How many years were you in Nebraska, John?
About 8.
8 years in Nebraska, got his PhD there, and a very successful guy. Chris Gartman, well, I'll tell you, that guy can talk. You know what he said? He said, you didn't know how to, you didn't realize that. He said, you had me running those 400-meter hurdles. I was a sprinter. And he was. Listen, I got to tell you another story. It's really fun. I'm in New York 20 years ago. I call Jose Jose Laficio. I call him on the phone. And we tracked down, and I hadn't seen Jose for 15 years. And I said, Jose, what are you doing? He says, I'm with Brooklyn DA. Is that right? Yeah, Brooklyn DA. And so we meet, we sit right across the street from Central Park at, in Essex or something, right, Essex, at Central Park South. And I said, hey, Jose, what happens if you go over to 8th Avenue? He says, well, don't ask me, I ain't going over there. he said, man, I could be packed and I ain't going over there. You know, there's certain things you remember. Certain things you remember. Bobby Bethea, what a good man he is. We always call Bobby when we're with Bob. Bob says, let's call Bethea. Great time. Mika, you're gonna spend some time with Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson is Mr. New York City. He knows, you know, we're gonna be the experimental program so we can get all these guys that we can't transfer to them. We're gonna find a way to transfer them. We're gonna be the test case with UTEP. We're gonna lead it. We're gonna make it happen. Bill Fisher, Kevin Joyce. Bill was the first one, Kevin was the second. Those guys, I'll tell you something. You talk about getting things done and making my life easy, because it was easy for me with those guys. I appreciate each and every one of you in here, and one other person I'd like to recognize is Bob Mister. Bob, you came up with the idea, he said, let's do the Wayne Vandenberg track and field show before Wide World of Sports on Saturday. We did. Then we had a radio show. The Wayne Vandenberg Drive Time Radio Show, right? KROD. With Pat, what was Pat's last name, do you remember? Pat, the DJ or the guy, the sports director. Yeah, Pat White. We used to do this. Coach, what's going on? We give them the tips, you know, we're getting ready for this weekend, you know, and I remember we got stopped on the highway coming down Albuquerque. Going about 130 miles an hour. And the police rolled me in, you know, and I said, what do you got on that hood, buddy? He said, what do you got on your hood? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll outrace you. He said, can't outrace this, this walkie-talkie. I said, okay, write it up. But that's how we existed. You know, we get cars from the car dealers, we get 7 cars down the road. We lived fast. We lived fast and wild, and we did some crazy things. But you know something? We're all here to talk. We're all better for it. We're all better to talk about it. So it's a wonderful thing, and I am so happy, and I want to spend time with each and every one of you this weekend, and your wives, daughters, children, whatever. This is good. Clyde Glosson, what a guy he was. Still is. Yeah, we know. Anyhow, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and it's not about me, it's about us.
Next is going to be Harrington J.J. Jackson. He's kind of quiet.